Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halalam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who continue to be examples to the flock, whom the Lord has set up, to lead his elect in these last days. Salutations also to the Akim who are pushing his word sincerely, who are trying to be better through the Spirit, conforming themselves as much as possible, as best as possible, through the Spirit, through our actions, through our behaviors, to like unto Yahweh Shai, right? And, to the rest of the 1/3, the men, women, and children who are, doing their best to walk this walk, who have been chosen from the foundation of the earth to be, that remnant that will receive mercy, shalom. This lesson is going to be, based on the fact that, when we come to this truth, we have certain behaviors, certain mannerisms, certain beliefs, habits, that we acquire, growing up, and there are different, social institutions which pretty much, which socialize us, as we grow up. There's the family. For those of us who went, there's church, there's school, there's our friends, and in this age there's also, social media, but for most of us in the truth, we didn't grow up with social media. So you have those social institutions that pretty much defined, what habits, we would adopt, what beliefs, we had, our behaviors, our mannerisms, all these different things. And we have all of that, before coming into this truth, But the point of coming to this truth, one of the main things that should happen, and it's a gradual process, we get, into this truth, is that we should change. We should change. You should, brothers have this, it's all about balance, but you shouldn't have this mindset that, this is just who I am, and, brothers should just know how to deal with me because this is how I am, and, yeah, to an extent, but you have to be careful, about how much you use that as an excuse, because that just sounds like the nigger woman, I'm a bad bitch and he just got to deal with me. I'm I have a short temper. He just got to deal with me, and what? No. If you know that you have toxic traits, and we all have toxic traits, coming into this truth, we have, certain demons on us, whether it be pride, some brothers just don't like to get corrected, because you feel like you know it all. You're coming from, a position where you are always, knowledgeable in your field or whatever it is, so there's lying, all different types of habits, whatever it is, we all have those, poor habits that we come in with. All right, so let's just start here. Ephesians 4:22. All right, it said that he put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust. And if we look up that word conversation, it says your behavior, right? So if we look up the root, it says to turn upside down, to turn over, to turn hither, turn oneself about, to sojourn, metaphor, to conduct oneself, to behave oneself, to live, right? So this word goes into your manner of life, your conduct, your behavior, your deportment, right? Your deportment even goes into, how you walk, right? Let's look it up. It says the way a person stands and walks, particularly as an element of etiquette, a person's behavior or manners, right? So all these different things, we had before coming into this truth. We had a manner of life. We had a certain way we conducted ourselves. We had certain behaviors, certain deportments. All of that should gradually change as you start to learn more, right? Why? Scripture said, because those habits, those mannerisms, those deportments, those behaviors, they are corrupt, according to the deceitful lust. Because if you really examine the true reason why we do the things that we do in this world, It's just as 1 John 2:15 said, it comes down to lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and pride of life. You know, that's why we do, pretty much everything that we do in this world. Why we strive to get certain things. It's either the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, pride of life. That's it. So that's what defined our habits before coming into this truth, right? So verse 23 said we should be renewed in the spirit of our mind, right? And that you put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore putting away lying, speaking truth, every man with his neighbor, for we are members one of another, right? So when you come into this truth, you start to learn different things that are important, right? Humility, integrity, keeping your word, honesty, right? Reliability, honor, all these different things, that are the nuances, of how we conduct ourselves, treat each other, because, in essence, these things are more weightier, than knowing the breakdowns, knowing the prophecies, going out in the highways and the byways. These things are important, yes, but as Paul said, charity is above all. And charity goes into how we deal with one another, how we conduct ourselves with one another. And these things change when we incorporate and cultivate that new man, when we put in those new habits, right? That the scriptures teach us how to deal with one another, right? I want to go also to Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, right? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, I want to go into this word conform, right? So conform says to fashion alike. That is to conform to the same pattern, to conform to fashion self according to. Right? To conform oneself, i.e. one's minds and character to another's pattern, right? So it says, be not conformed to this world, right? So whatever is trending in the world, the habits that people have in this world, the things that people value in this world, their mannerisms, their behavior, we shouldn't pattern ourselves, our mind, our character, and our behaviors after the world. We should be different, right? We should pattern our behavior according to Yahweh Shai, right? Now, if we look up the root of this word, right, it says the habitus, as comprising everything in a person which strikes the senses, the figure, bearing, discourse, action, manner of life. Now, if you look up that word habitus in a sociological context, it says in sociology, habitus comprises socially ingrained habits, skills, and dispositions. All right, so that's the same thing we're talking about, being not conformed to this world. But these are different things that were part of us, when we came into this truth, right? Socially ingrained habits ingrained in us because of the social constitutions that reared us, school, church, family, whatever it is, whatever social interactions we had with the world, that pretty much defined the way we think, the opinions we hold, the behaviors we have, the way we speak, the way we feel and think about life. All these different things are ingrained in us because of the social constitutions that pretty much grow us, right? So it is the way that the individuals perceive the social world around them and react to it. These days, right, how people perceive the social world is defined by social media, trends. Whatever is trending, is how people see the world. Everybody just wants to conform to what is the norm, the popular belief, So we shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be like that. The world shouldn't define how we perceive it and how we react to it. The scriptures should. These dispositions are usually shared by people with similar grounds such as social class, religion, nationality, ethnicity, education, and profession and opportunities. So every brother in the truth, right? We should have certain dispositions, certain habits, right? Certain behaviors that are shared among us because we all believe in the same thing, right? So I could meet a brother, from, let's say, Vegas or North Carolina or Texas or the UK or Italy, wherever, and we will just get along. Why? Why would we get along? Because we're one. We are members one of another. We believe the same thing. Therefore, our habits will be the same. Our mannerisms will be the same. Yeah, you have different nuances, different difference between people. Everybody's, different, has a different spirit. But overall, our behaviors, our mannerisms, our habits, the things that we hold dear, our virtues will be the same. Right? Thus, the habitus represents the way group culture and personal history shape the mind and the body. Right? As a result, it shapes present social actions of an individual. Right? So the world shaped us before we came to the truth. But when we came to the truth, our world will shift. Right? How we view the world will shift. Right? So our mind and our body, because we should start to, eat properly. The apostle always said this, and it's always, even cuts me, lately I've been, drinking less of it, but, he always said that no member of GMS should be drinking sodas, So you learn to take care of yourself. The elders and apostles always go into, different health remedies, vegetarian diet, or different herbs that you can use to improve your health. So these different things are habits that you take up when you come to this truth. I didn't want it to be too long-winded. Let me just reread Romans 12 and verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. So hopefully this lesson was edifying and exhorting to the spirit. Till next time, shalom.